Okay, so welcome to a tutorial. My name is Clement Lee, and this tutorial is modified for Yusuf Alouche. I'm not sure how to pronounce Alouche, but I think that's how you pronounce it. We're going to designer.gravit.io. You should get this page on startup, or you could just search up Gravit Designer. Click this and then click this. Yes. Okay. So this is the download page. So this has a free version and a paid version. Unfortunately, I do not have the paid version, so I will only go over the free features. To download it, there's a download button right here, and basically I have Windows, so I do Windows installer. I'm assuming you either have Mac OS or Windows or maybe a Chromebook or something. I don't think you have Linux. But whatever. Just download and install. Or if you don't like this installer, there is the Microsoft Store. If you click on this and then search up Gravit Designer, it should be there. Gravit Designer. It's a 4.4 rating. Okay, that's pretty generous. There's also discuss.gravit.io. Discuss.gravit.io. Where you can discuss. You can ask the people who made this. You can ask for a feature, or you could ask, "How do you do this?" Basically, think of Gravit Design as Microsoft Paint but better because it uses vector graphics and has more features. Basically, you could download it and install, or you could use this website version. They should all work the same basically. I have not found any difference working between either of the three installation methods. I've tried all three. I have logged into Gravit on my school computers, and they should work the same. If you get to this page, you create an account. If you click outside of it, you'll just get an infinite canvas, or if you press create without leaving this empty, you'll get a 0 by 0, which is infinite. And this is my account. But yes, I will not be using this version, the website version. I will be using the version on that is installed, the desktop version. Press cancel. So, a few things. Yes, file new to create a new one. I always do 1024 by 1024. If you just type this here and press tab 1024 and then press enter, then you should create a new. So basically we have two projects open, and we have the canvases are the same size, and we can just switch between them. So if you can see, they're a bit different. Like if you switch, this one zoomed out a bit more. If I move this to the right, you can kind of see more of a difference. These are two different projects, and it will be more apparent. The things that we're going to be working on, firstly, I am on a dual monitor, so if I move my thing to the right all the way, I can just grab and pull this tab up, so you can see what we'll be making in this video. So some square, rectangle, circle, and ellipse, rotated rectangle and ellipse, squircle, pie charts, polygons, stars, rounded stars, composite shapes, triangles, what is this? Irregular polygons and concave polygons, zigzags. What is this? Incomplete, non-Jordanic curves, flipping, rotations, waves. Well, these aren't geometric waves, but waves in the vector sense. And then strokes. So I'll put this on the second tab so I can keep a track of what I should be doing. But yes, you will not be seeing it after this. I will just go through it. Okay. So yes, first navigation. So this tool, the default tool is called the pointer tool. You can, if you're on another tool, you can switch back to it by pressing V, and the subselect tool you get to by pressing D as in dog. So D as in dog to get the white arrow, and V as in volleyball to get the black arrow. So if you go down here, the letter names are already here, and if you hold on to it long enough, you can see a demonstration of how the tool works. So if you have any prior knowledge in Photoshop or something similar, then this should be a bit familiar to you. I never used the lasso, layer, or slice tool personally, but I'm pretty sure there are people who use this. There are drop-down menus right here, so you can see the hidden tools. So line, rectangle, ellipse, you've seen these. And then in later sections, we'll do the pen. I do not use Bezigon or freehand, and I do not use knife, freehand shaping, or any of this. But we'll cover them. Or if I miss one of them, I'll tell you. So firstly, the squares. So we do R for the rectangle tool, and as you could see, our little cursor has kind of changed. So if you click, hold, and drag, it's like paint. And when you release it, you get, boom, the silhouette. You have to go from corner to corner. So corner to corner, corner to corner. If you want a square, press Shift, hold it down while doing it, and release the mouse before releasing the Shift button, and boom. So we've got our, to click, hold, and drag on one of these is to select it. So click to select it with the pointer tool, and then you can just move it around. And like you could see that it wants to snap to this because then it will be aligned. That's just how it makes it easier on designers to align things like this. So something like this. So we have some sort of layout like this. If we want to color them, so this is a very light gray. This is the default color. It should be EB, EB, EB. Yes, EB, EB, EB. We can just change it by clicking here or clicking one of the swatches. I personally hate this yellow. It's a bit too bright for me, but I do like the cyan color. Let's tone it down a bit, or make it, yeah, let's make it here. I like to have it on the edges or on the, to make it more, I don't know, I like those colors better. Let me have something like this, and just play around with the colors and the sliders as well. Okay, and then we will, for our next one would be the ellipses. So E for ellipse, press E, and you can make an ellipse like this, click, hold, and drag from corner to the corner of the bounding boxes, because ellipses don't have corners. I might have been moving a bit too quickly because I've been moving like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, And I don't think I've taught you that. I think I might have skipped over that. So scroll up and down to go up and down. Press shift while pressing scroll up and down to scroll left and right. Press control while scrolling up and down to zoom in and out. Press down on the scroll wheel to get this mouse tool and just click, hold, and drag with the scroll wheel. So you can do this free-form movement, or press the space bar and click, hold, and drag with the left mouse button for free-form movement, or press H and click around for free-form movement, or click on this hand tool. Free-form movement is called the pan tool. And then if you want to go back, so if you press H and you want to get out of this, press V. I think that should clear up more of the confusion if I have caused it. So we have created our first ellipse. Let's press Control D to duplicate it. Let's move this here. Let's make this a bit wider. And let's change the colors a bit. So like this, so both gray. And let's do something with the design. So let's add some borders by pressing this plus sign here. And click, hold, and drag upwards to create a border. So you could see that they've created a border inwards. I'm not sure if that's the same for you, but if you want to change it so it goes kind of outwards, do this, or all the way outwards, do this. So there's a lot of selections here. I personally like the middle, or it's called the center, it says, but I think it defaults to inside sometimes. Let's see what to do now. Also, this is not a perfect circle. To make a perfect circle, go to the ellipse tool, press shift, hold it down, and make a circle. And remember to release the mouse before releasing shift. That is very important. And as you could see, the alignment function is very, very useful in this. I always use red as a default color because it automatically is at the red hue, but you can play around with it actually. Playing around with stuff, you can even change the color of the strokes to click this, just click around here. They have a color mixer too, so if you want it to be more desaturated, you can have it like this. So I'm pretty sure that you are like, this is obvious stuff. This is like stuff that I can make in Paint. But there are things soon enough that you'll learn, oh, I can't make this in Paint, so yeah. So let's get on with this tutorial. Let's start with rotating blocks. So you can't really rotate a block in Paint except like in 90-degree increments. So if you click on this, hold and drag, you get this little rotating outline. If you release, you get this thing. If you press shift while doing this, you get this little incremental thing. If you could see, it does it in like increments of 15 degrees. Very interesting stuff. Actually, I'd like to do Control D to duplicate and rotate it. And then let's change the color a bit. I think that looks pretty nice. Honestly, you could do whatever as long as you're demonstrating this. I would like you to follow along and send me a copy of the design file so that I could look through it to see if you've learned everything. Let's see, what else? I've learned to rotate stuff, and I also need to show you that you could select multiple things by click, hold, and dragging, and you can select multiple things and rotate them at the same time. So these have the same axis of rotation, so you can rotate them even more or something. I have no idea. but yeah, and let's continue. This one, if you press D, you get to the sub-select tool, and you might see these orange dots, and you might be like, what does this do? So if you click, hold, and drag on these, you get these little rounded corners, which is pretty cool. If you go to this thing, you can change what the corners look like. I really like this. This is very oh, it's called fancy. Well, it's called fancy for a reason. Yeah. So we have these cool corners, and you can do it for any rectangle. And you might be like, what happens if I do it on things that are not rectangles? Like this. We have these little orange diamonds. What do these do? We get pie slices. You might have anticipated that from earlier, and we could change it in this appearance, so we get closed or pie or open. Open and closed don't look the same they look the same visually, but if you can see that on open there's no blue line here, and in closed there is one. I'm not sure if you can see, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Just go to pie, and let's do closed on this one, and whoa, I pressed the wrong button. Yes. Boom. So, as you could see, if you do this, if it has a stroke, it automatically follows this. And if it has open, you can see the difference. You can kind of see why that you would want open versus closed. So if I turn on a border, you can kind of see it being closed. And now let me turn it to center. I hope that you've been following along pretty well with these. That is my hope. If not, then that wouldn't be great, I guess. Let me just duplicate this into this, and then make this, and then duplicate this again, and then flip. And here we get doubled X's, a tic-tac-toe board. I just wanted to demonstrate the flipping function. Then we have the polygons. A triangle is a polygon. It goes from the center to the corner. If you press shift, then you get to lock on to automatic increments of 15. So this is perfectly straight here. And let's change it to a different color. So this is what we got so far. Let's push this in more closer. Yes. So let's rearrange them, because rearranging is a practice, a design practice, I guess. So click, hold, and drag around these shapes, because we're going to need much more space than this. Okay, I think that's enough. And then the polygon tool should be a hexagon by default. If you press shift, you can make it perfectly straight, as I've said. It's basically the triangle tool, but a bit more complex. Let's make this green. Make this yellow, actually. I don't like yellow, but whatever. This is a bit disgusting color, but, and you can change the amount of points here. So you could see that you could, the triangle tool is basically useless. I barely use this, but this is an introduction to it. You can make this up to 25. And if you press D, you can round the corners. If you can, oh yes, that, I haven't used this tool in so long, but you could do this. No, this is the round corner one. The round corner one is a different place. Hold on. Uh, Not this one. Uh, Here. Yes, this is it. If you This slider rounds the corners. Uh, but yeah, let's keep that. That looks cool. Let's push this up here. And if you drew them a bit too big, you could select everything and shrink them like this, which I think is pretty neat. But I think I can fit everything in the page. That will be more useful in later sections if I need help with that. Anyways, there's the star tool, which basically is the same thing as the previous two tools, except it's automatically a star, and then again, you can round it out, and then make them more points, and yeah, just play around with it. I honestly barely use this tool, and I don't think you'll use this that much as well, but it's nice to know. Let's add a border. I always add borders willy-nilly, I guess, and just adjust to make it look cool. I think this, let's change the color a bit. Yeah. Also, this slider is for transparency. So if you can kind of see, if you zoom in, that they're a bit different colors, and if I change the page color, you can kind of see it reacting. Though I'll keep it as white, the page color. You could also turn the page color to transparent, and you can see the transparency through the stroke. But that's only for export, so I'll just turn it back to white. Let's see, what else? Let's go to, let's make one last star just for the sake of it. Just like this, and just color it randomly. Okay. Next, we will make a rectangle, and E for the ellipse tool here. So let's say we want to make let's make a circle actually instead of ellipse. Yes. And do this. So we have this composite figure, but as you could see, if I change the color of one of them, the other one doesn't change. If I select them both, they can change at the same time. And that's a bit useful actually for the next steps that we're going to do. Let's duplicate this, move this here, duplicate, and let's shrink this down. Just that would make it so that this one's no longer an ellipse, but it doesn't, I don't care anymore. Oh, I've got an idea. Just shrink the rectangle on this. I'm an idiot. Okay, yes. We have 4 of these, and we're going to go over, what's it called? Union Pathfinders? I think they're called Pathfinders, or Assemblers. I'm not sure the name. Create compound shape. If I just click on it, then it will just combine them like this. So you can see that we have a new entire shape. So if I just click on it and change the color, I don't have to like select both of them. I just click on it. But if I click on it again, you could see that I can still have some sort of control over something underneath. I could still click on the stuff underneath, which seems about weird, but whatever. There is, do this, duplicate this, and then push this to the side, and click this one, convert to path. As you could see, this is the layers panel. As you could see, we have all these rectangles from, the bottom is the oldest one that we made, and the newest one we made, or the, well, not the, that's a very simple way to look at it. But basically, the one here is a path. The ones we've made before at the start were rectangles, then ellipses, then the triangle, the star, and the polygon are all considered polygons. And yeah, so compound shapes have a drop down menu, so you can select the ellipse and rectangle. And this is useful when you want to move the ellipse around, but also you want to select it once and just have it all the same color. Anyways, let's make a different color for this one. This is a cool color. And let's select them both and go to the drop down and subtract. So the first one we did was union. If you hold down, you could kind of see what we just did. And there's a video for everything, and I recommend that you explore everything. But yeah, subtract takes a bite out of it. As you could see, the circle was on top. The ellipse was on top, so the bite was the ellipse. If I select them both and do intersection, you'll get the middle of the two. Let's do orange actually. And then difference should be the last one. And this is one shape, not two. And let's pack them more efficiently. I think that moving them back to where it is, you could see that this fits perfectly. But I want them to be moving. I want to place them separately so that you can see it's easier on the project files whenever. Yes, perfect. I hope this is aligned well. Yeah, this should be aligned okay. And this one should, this is also me moving around these shapes is an exercise in navigating around and also aligning the stuff. So it's not me wasting your time. Anyways, the nightmare begins. This is the second half of the tutorial, so goodbye shapes, goodbye rectangles, all of these. We could go over the line tool, but I'm pretty sure you already know. It's just a stroke. But yes, we're going over lines and paths actually. So if you could see, it's a path right here. You could also see a path right here. If I select this, it's the path when we converted it to a path. I don't want you to convert these two paths because I want you to send the project files when you're done so I can look over it. But yes. So the next phase we're going to use this tool, the Mighty Pen tool. You'll see in the future why it's so useful, but for now, I'll show you one function of it. So you click, 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 and you see whenever the cursor has a circle, you just click to finish the path. So click, 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 click. And we have these triangles which aren't equilateral, as the first one is already equilateral. It's by default, these are irregular polygons. So let's turn this into different colors other than red because I am not original. And yes, you can do more than just triangles. If I do click for a bit longer, I can make a dart. Something like this. Also, I haven't been doing this, but you can overlap shapes. Wait, I have overlapped shapes. And you could also turn down the transparency here. There's another way you can turn down transparency. If you go down here, let's do it with something else. If you do this, press Control and the up button, or Control Shift up to bring it all the way to the top of the layer, and go to the fill and do this, you can see that the outline doesn't change. It's only the fill that changes. When you change this changes both of them. And you can change the outline here. Really doesn't matter. Okay, but I want you to know that opacity is a thing here. This is, I think, all in vector arts programs. Let's make a few more abstract shapes. Just a concave polygon right here. That's a great color. Okay. And by default, they will have a border with a thickness of 1. You can just always pump up the thickness. You can see that there's this here, this cutting, and that's here because at a certain angle it doesn't want to render the little sharp point, because, you know, if it was very, very sharp, it would go on for a long time. So it has a cutoff angle. There is a way where you can kind of fix it in quotation marks, where you go and press round, where it doesn't really fix it per se, it just makes it look like something different. And yeah, there's no real way to fix it, it's just hiding it, basically. But we'll go over that later. Okay. And we're basically 75% done, I think. It's now time for zigzags. So click, 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 click. Instead of going back down here and finishing your path, go here and click this and click outside and just deselect everything. Select something else. Make sure this isn't selected, and then now select this. And now you can see that this one is changed. It's not, the path is not complete, if you can see. Also, the thing is cut off, so let me press D. I can click this and move this around. So you could see at this angle it can draw the point just fine, but as you get closer and the thing gets sharper, it doesn't want to draw it anymore. And I guess there's a reason why, because after this level of sharpness, it doesn't want to draw it anymore. And if you go all the way here and do it like this, I guess then it would be like extend forever, and people might be super confused. So I think that's why they do it. So just click on this until it's blue, and then you can kind of work around with this. So let's make a longer one. Just click, 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 click. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Press Control Z. Okay, yes, click, click, click. I think I might have double clicked or something, because I just ended the path. To continue on a broken path, so let's say we've deselected this and we wanted to pump this up. If you add a fill, which the fill is already here, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can't see it. It says it's there, but you can only see it if you change it. So it just draws it from the start to the finish, regardless of like the positions. Ooh, that is something we'll be getting into later. But yeah, if you see this, it just goes through. Uh, anyways, press P for the pen tool. Let's continue our thing. Just click, 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 click. I think that should be good enough. That's a good enough example of a long zigzag. And yes, I think that should be it for zigzags. What else should we get to? Rotations we've really went into. Oh yes, no, pen. If we go to the pen tool already, also this is a new update, but if you just hover over here, it will just navigate. I feel that this is a bit annoying because whenever I started with Gravit Designer, it used to not do this. So I'm not really used to it, but whatever. If I click and press shift, you get this little anchoring sort of thing. So it shifts onto increments of 45 degrees. So I can make shapes like this. So you can see it wants to align like that. So it's very neat for making blocks. And let's just not give the color anymore. Let's give the border a color. We haven't given a lot of the borders colors. And let's duplicate this a few more times. So press Control D, move it, and press Control D to copy the transformations. I'll be covering stuff like this in future videos. Right now, let's just ignore it right now, I guess. It's just a cool little feature, and we'll get more deeper into it as we move on. Let's just flip this one so it looks cooler. So as you can see, we're coming to a close. We're like 90% done. And now the last section is waves. So we go back to the pen tool, and if you've seen me move and then drag this like this, you've kind of gotten a feel of what waves would be like. If I select all of this, you could kind of see that there are these little anchor points. They're called tangent handles. And if you change them, you change how the curve moves. They're like guidelines. It's like you shoot a cannon in this direction with this force, and you know that it's going to come in with this force at this direction. So it shoots, but there's like, it wants to go, it knows it has to go at this speed, so it has to redirect itself down here. Same with here. It goes down here in this direction, but it knows it has to go down here in this direction, so it has to redirect itself backwards. It's complicated. Let me delete this for now. For waves, let me go back to the pen tool. Click, hold, and drag. Click, hold, and drag. And click, hold, and drag. That's the basic wave. And if you want to align it, you could just move this. So yes, it's on the same wavelength, and move this up. So also you cannot snap these handles towards each other. Unfortunately, that's not a feature for Gravit Designer, but there is a workaround which I'll go in a future video. Just ask me if I have not, remind me if I have not told you about it. And yes, so let's make a longer one, but let's go like this. Just do it freehand. It doesn't really matter. I just want you to get a feel for curves. So it's click, hold, drag, all the way until here. Just go back onto the video if I'm a bit fast. But yes, there's another way where you click, hold, drag, click, hold, drag. I want you to do both ways. Though this version is a bit more squarey. You can kind of see it kind of tight. It's more tight, to me at least. Then the last few sections. I'm going to make a square, a rectangle, our wonderful little rectangle that we began with. Let's have a color, but we're going to do something else. We're going to change it to a linear gradient. And you can change the color to something like white. We'll blend in. Let's do green. There's an awful brown color, and there's a bit of math as to a mathematical explanation as to why if we do pure red and pure green, it will have a disgusting brown color. Same with pure yellow and pure purple, I think. Wait, what? What happened? Oh, no, not purple. Is this? Yeah, I think there's a disgusting brown here too. No, not purple. Blue? No. Yeah, well, the point is that there's like disgusting color combinations. Let's have it pure. Yeah, this looks nice, I guess. And another thing is you can have a gradient for these two as well. So, interesting. We can go back on our previous figures. So let's say this is one path. So we can have a linear gradient on that. And we can actually click, hold, and drag on these and change the direction of this. Or we can go through this and it should automatically create some angles for us. And then, let's see, let's go through some. If we go through let's just make a new ellipse. I'll teach you something actually, which I forgot to teach. If I press Alt and drag, it goes from the center to the corner. If I hold Shift as well, it makes a square from the center to the corner. So, bop, boop. Oh, shit. I have no idea. Okay, whatever. Let me change back the language, because using Alt and Shift also changes the language. It's weird on my computer, but yes. Let's just make an ellipse, pressing Alt. While doing this, we'll do from the center to the corner. So I'll show you a purpose for this in later videos. I'm just going to show you radial gradient, which is a circular gradient. And basically, let's duplicate this and have another version. Let's change this colors to something like this. And then we can just play around with this. I honestly don't really understand the math of this, but it looks cool, and that's the point. Well, that's what you should know, is that you can play around with this, and you'll get the hang of it. So, I think that is it. Let's do a few finishing final stuff. Let's duplicate this with Control D, and then let's change the color a bit. So there is still the previous version underneath, so you can kind of see. Let me duplicate this again. Just delete it and reduplicate it. Turn this green. Gray. Press Alt and Shift so that you can do this and duplicate this again. Alt Shift and shrink it so you can duplicate it again. And then let's just do it a different color so that we have this layering going on, but it's perfectly centered. Anyways, I think that is it. That should be all the features I should have covered. I've covered layering, I've covered navigation, layering, navigation, transparency in strokes, coloring the strokes, the options with open, closed, and pie, so open, closed, and pie. We've shown how to make fancy bevels with here, and curved corners with this. How to rotate along the center of a thing. Concentricity, concentric squares. Squares that share the same center, basically, by using the transforms. Flipping along an axis. Transparent strokes, or semi-transparent strokes. Colored fills, semi-transparent fills. Well, this is just semi-transparent everything. Well, the word is translucent. Transformation, repetitive transformations, linear radial gradients, and linear gradients at angles, linear gradients on strokes, waves of two kinds, a singular wave, zigzags, a longer zigzag, using shift to pen out shapes, compounding and turning things into paths. Also, if I move this around, I can, if I move this circle around, you can kind of see the use for this. Polygons, stars, rounded stars, concave polygons. There is one last thing I want to show you, actually, and there's a small space right here we can make for it, which I really like. So there's this thing called a grid. So if I turn it on, you can see that this painfully doesn't align with this, and you can kind of see, oh, the grid is 10 by 10, but this is 1024 by 1024. So I'm going to change the grid width to 64 by 64, and you can see that now it aligns. If I use the pen tool again, the pen tool is very useful tool. I can click and it will automatically align to the grid. So we have this, and there's also an isometric grid. So if I press isometric and we set the size to 64, we can get isometric designs like here. So these are shapes. As you can see, there's a cutoff. If it's not like this on yours, then you can see this clip content. I have mine on so I can see what bleeds out of the page. But you can always turn off the grid and it will, and you can just move it freely, and you can always scale them down. I think that is it for my tutorial for phase 1. I call this phase 1, level 1, it doesn't matter. This is what you should have ended up with. I want you to export this, no, not, save to local file as, and then just untitled1 phase1.gvdesign and press enter to save. I hope that you have found this helpful and that you've been able to go through this entire video without feeling lost, but I'm pretty sure you felt lost in one step of the way or another, and I know this can't really be helped because I've been using this program for years, so I might have glossed over something, especially in the beginning where I glossed over navigation, I think. But I really hope that you were able to get something out of this and that I wasn't just speeding up to a point where you couldn't follow anything. And I wish that you were to send me over Discord a copy of your GV design after you finish this so that I can look and see what you have. I want to see what you have learned from this video so I can tell you, oh, you made a mistake here, you made a mistake there, and I'll make a follow-up video for mistakes. And yeah, so again, thank you very much. Also, you can just change what this is, so it looks really trippy, doesn't it? I think it looks pretty cool. Yes, thank you very much and have a nice day. Boop.